This video is brought to you by War Thunder. These are the best and most fun builds I've played so far in Path of Exile 2 0.4. They're fast, they've got insane clear, and of course a shit ton of damage. And in this one, we'll cover all of them in brief, along with showcasing the creator's theory, crafting these magnificent builds. And starting us right off, we have my favorite build since Dawn of the Hunt, the titty-twisting GPU destroyer made by me and my buddy Beshowers. If you've been a Para gaming fan for long, then you've definitely seen this build before. But in this league in particular, we got access to the Oracle Ascendancy, which completely changed how this build can be played. I've made some hybrid twister setups in the past, but now you don't have to focus on either twisters or spells. Rather, they synergize off each other to do even more damage. Meaning, when we boost the spell damage, we boost the twister damage, and vice versa. This allows us to make use of cast on crit and ailment to make our GPU cry in agony. But Mr. Big Dick Senpai, that sounds like complete nonsense, and I don't believe you. Alright, sit down, son, and I'll explain. Firstly, we want the Oracle to have access to 100% crit. This is so that we can trigger Cock consistently, because in our Cock, we're going to rock arc and other projectile spells. Because this is the first synergy, using projectile skills, we can boost our twister and arc with projectile ranks and damage at the same time. But we're also going to slap on the threaded light focus, gaining spell damage from spirit and then stack a buttload of spirit. And with all this spell damage, we also gain attack damage for our twisters via Crown of Eyes. And apart from the crit, can you guess what's great about Oracle? That's right, we have easy access to all the best spell damage nodes in the passive tree, allowing us to boost our twisters like crazy. So not only does the spell damage help with clearing and breaking our GPU, but it also boosts the twister damage more than we'd otherwise get with other ascendancies. Great, huh? Yep. One node in particular that's just fantastic is Mystical Rage, allowing us to rage, stack more physical damage, and then double dip via the increased spell damage. I've made a full build guide for this one, and you'll find it along with the others in the description. Next, we have another Druid build. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor, War Thunder, the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, available for free on PC, consoles, and mobile. And with comprehensive, I truly mean massive. You can take control of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships of 10 different nations. All of them highly detailed and realistic, allowing for proper immersion with the most sophisticated vehicle damage models in gaming. Every vehicle is modeled down to its individual components, all parts being susceptible to damage and behaving like their real-world counterparts. Personally, this is why War Thunder stands out above other vehicle combat games and is the main reason I've spent hundreds of hours playing it. The quality is simply 10 out of 10 with deep customization but also optimization, which allowed me to play it on a potato before I became a famous YouTuber. And if you use my links today, new and returning players on PC and console that haven't played in 6 months will get access to this limited time bonus pack, including multiple premium vehicles, an exclusive vehicle decorator, and a week of premium account access. So make sure to check it out, it's one hell of a deal. Alright, now we're checking out my second favorite build this league, the Oil Barrage Wyvern build by JMac. First things first, yeah, this is a Druid build, but it's equally as good if not better to play it as an Amazon as well. The main difference being that Amazon is slightly faster and tankier and relies on whirling slash for movement, whereas the Oracle deals more damage and relies on blink and pounce for movement. With that said, how does the build work? Well, there are some really cool interactions here using Oil Barrage. Firstly, it consumes power charges to begin its channeling. Since we're rocking the Oracle here, generating power charges is easily solved via Vol's Protector. We crit, we gain power charges, and we're done with the channeling. Good stuff. But the screen clearing is made possible by how Oil Barrage interacts with a few support gems. Firstly, we gain extra projectiles via Salvo, and we have them shoot out in a circle via Nova projectiles. The thing about Oil Barrage is that it snapshots Salvo for the entire channeling duration, generating massive amounts of projectiles. Then, to have even more AoE, we're slotting in Fork, but also Ricochet, allowing the Oil Barrage to chain off terrain. And apparently, for this skill in particular, the ground itself counts as terrain, meaning you don't actually have to hit walls or any other stupid shit to start this chaining. It just happens automatically. And that, my friends, is how this magnificent clear is made. Now, this is an Oracle, and if you watched the previous build, you may already have figured how we're going to scale our damage. And if not, eat shit. And here we go again. We're going to stack spell damage and use Crown of Eyes. The main difference between this and Twisters is that we're actually shape-shifting, so we can go even harder on the rage stacking, and we're not spirit stacking as hard due to not being able to use the threaded light focus. But other than that, it's fairly similar. JMac makes some great guides, so make sure to check them out in the description if you want to try this one out. Next up on the list, we have my favorite spellcaster build. Here with a Blood Mage setup created by Light and an Oracle version by Slayer D. I'd say they're pretty equal in terms of power, and you can play whatever version you want. I've tried out the Oracle one personally, and basically anything you could otherwise do with a Spark Comet setup, you can do with this one, clearing out maps instantly, while also being able to carry 6-man pinnacle bosses, but I just find Arc way more fun than Spark and Comet. Alright, and how does this fantastic build work then? That's easy. When mapping, we're just going to press the Arc button. We combine this with Wild Shards to gain a buttload of AoE, along with consuming lightning infusions to gain extra damage and more chaining. We then do the same with our Cock and use Sione's Temper for even more projectiles. This is the reason you want to go either Blood Mage or Oracle, so you can get that crit chance to 100%. The lightning infusions in turn come from Living Bomb, spawning fire infusions that will transform into lightning infusions. For bossing, we're also adding in Frost Wall to get a big ass burst. Now, if you're a dogshit noob, you may be curious about the survivability, seeing as the life drops up and down like a pogo stick with ADHD. But that's merely due to us transforming mana costs into life cost, while using Mind over Matter, allowing us to stack mana for defense and dip into Archmage to more or less double our damage. Alright, and for the next build, you may start seeing a trend. Yeah, that's right, it's another Oracle build, because Oracle is just disgusting when it comes to theory crafting. And for this one, we're checking out the Dildo Plant Druid by my buddy Jalapeno. I've already showcased this build before, but guess what? I'll do it again. Because Jala has done something truly remarkable. He's made the ground dildos even bigger. And with ground dildos, I'm of course talking about the thrashing vines. Because the main downside of plants compared to, let's say Spark, is its limited clearing capabilities. But by going AoE stacking, we can actually get the dildos upwards of a 15-meter radius, not only making it capable of filling up your wife's loose vagina, but also entire temple rooms. Alright, and for the newbies, how does this build work? Well, it's largely a one-button build. You press Entangle, which triggers Cast on Crit, spawning the massive Thrashing Vines dildos. You then overgrow them using Thunderstorm, also in the Cast on Crit, making them bigger and having them deal more damage. Simple as that. Then we do exactly as we did in the previous build. We use life as our mana pool and our mana pool as defense. Okay, and how do we boost our AoE? Well, the thing about Thrashing Vines is that it has several layers of AoE stacking, especially when paired with the Oracle. Firstly, it gets bigger when overgrown, of course. Then it scales with AOE nodes and support gems. These by itself makes the vines twice as large, but the thrashing vines also gain AOE by stacking gem quality, meaning quality soul cores, corrupting for extra quality, and using Diala's desire directly boosts the AOE of our vines. Then, perhaps the best part of playing Oracle is being able to maximize time-lost sapphires. We can simply stack these, each of them increasing our AOE when we grab notables. And since we're an Oracle, we can just use entwined realities to grab any notable in range for upwards of 30% AOE per gem. And if you can afford it, you can also combine this with an adorned diamond, boosting it upwards of 50% AOE per jewel. And this, my friends, is how we turn a 4-meter dildo into a 15 or 20-meter dildo. Nice, huh? Yeah, I had some good fun playing this build and can highly recommend it. Alright, next up, we have a bow build. This one has quite possibly the best clearing ability and single target damage of any build I've played. You're shooting giant lightning explosions covering the whole screen without having to stack AOE, mind you, and for single target, you can deal upwards of 100 million damage in one hit. You can play it as a Pathfinder if you want speed, Deadeye if you want to do juiced temples and hard content, or you can go with Amazon for tankiness. And how does this magnificent build work then? Well, it's fairly easy, really. We use Stormcaller's Arrow and Ice Shot for clearing. Stormcaller's Arrow is what has the AOE, and Ice Shot ensures we freeze everything, but also deals more single target damage. The latter is not really needed if you've got good gear, but can be helpful if you don't. Stormcaller's Arrow will always shock everything around you, which will ensure you constantly trigger Herald of Thunder on everything, instantly wiping out the entire map. It also looks cool, which is a bonus. Now this skill may look great, but it has one downside. It's absolute ass on single target. So how do we solve this? Easy, we're going to incorporate the Snipe Freeze tech. Alright, Mr. Big Penis Man, and how the hell does that work? Well, Snipe is a cool skill with some additional interactions. Firstly, if you release it at the right timing, which is incredibly easy nowadays, you gain an extra explosion. This explosion can then consume freeze to deal even more damage, upwards of 7,000 attack damage, which is quite a lot. So all we need to do is freeze the boss, shoot him with Snipe, and he's dead. And freezing him is not really a problem. To do this, all you need to do is have a bossing weapon set with extra freeze buildup and swap sets before the boss fight. You then mark the boss with freezing mark for extra freeze buildup, shoot him with freezing salvo and 1 or 2 ice shot, and the boss is instantly frozen. After that, pop Barrage and shoot him with a snipe, and he's dead. Easy peasy. And that's basically all you need to know to play this build. It's not as strong as some of the other builds for juiced temples, but it's in my opinion the best one for running breaches and one-tapping bosses. Alright, that's all for this one. Thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check out my links in the pinned comment and description to get access to my bonus pack for free, and I'll see you in the next one.